Hey everybody, welcome back and welcome to the Auto Barn. It's pretty much a mess, just been kind of a dumping ground and I haven't really finished anything since the last video, but I'll get to that. Anyway, today I'm gonna go ahead and start disassembling this used door that I have for the Miata. This is exactly how it came. I'm gonna get rid of this speaker and I'm gonna carefully take off this vapor barrier, which will allow me to go ahead and de-trim the rest of it, take the handle out, the outside handle I should say. And this also has power windows, so I'm hoping the regulator is okay. I'll check it out. And I'm gonna use as much of this new door as I can, but you can see the windows are tinted, so I'm gonna go ahead and peel that off. I mean, at the very least, I can swap over the movable glass, but this little fixed wing window right there, I'm gonna have to, scrape that off. So hopefully it won't be that bad. Looks like it's in good shape, so I'm hoping it'll come off with some heat. But this came with the hinges, the wiring harness. This is from a newer Miata that had power mirrors, and mine does not, so I won't be using this. But I'm hoping the rest of it will just kind of plug in. This looks like it's for the speaker. So anyway, I'm gonna take off the rubber gaskets and probably a lot of the other loose stuff. Definitely this this striker. I'll sand off that VIN. There's no need to have that. And everything's in pretty good shape. Like I said, I think this was off of maybe like a 97 or so. I don't remember. It was a part out, and it's been probably at least a good year since I've had this thing. But I'll show you the other side. So you can see this, the actually outside of this door, it's a little dirty, but there are no dings, scratches, or dents or anything. Like I said, it's just a little dirty. It's been here in the barn. This color was clear coated. I can see it's probably been repainted before, which that's fine, I don't care. But this belt molding is in really good shape, so I'm definitely gonna reuse that. And I will swap over the door handle or the lock cylinder just to match the key that's in my current Miata. So anyway, I wanna get started. All right, well, I got the exterior handle removed, as you can see right here. And this was kind of a pain in the ass. There's two 10 millimeters that you can kind of see through this little observation window right there. So you got to get those out. But then there are also two lock rods. This one, which is pretty easy to get off. And then this one, which I had to actually Google to find out how to remove that one. But once I knew, it was pretty simple. So I guess what I can do is either just, I think my handle's actually in better condition than this. So all I really need is just the different lock cylinder. So it's probably easier if I just take the one out of my current door and install it in here when this is done. But strangely enough, this car came with power locks, and this looks like it was a factory power lock install. So I couldn't get these little set screws were far too rusty. And the only problem, this door, when I got it, it had been sitting outside for I don't know how long, and you can tell it's had a lot of water down inside, so I'm hoping the power window motor is okay. If not, I can just use mine. But as a result, unfortunately, a lot of the fasteners are really corroded. Like, as you can see, those were just kind of spinning in place, and so it was easier that I just cut that, which I don't have power locks on the other car. I probably won't add them. If I do, I can just, take that off at that time. But I think what I'm gonna do is, the other problem I'm running into with this weather strip is all the clips are really, really brittle. And I don't wanna buy another weather strip, and this one's in really good shape. So I think I might just kind of tape it off. And I know that's not the right way to do this, but under the circumstance, I don't really wanna spend a whole bunch of money on this project. But I can clean it and tape it off, and it'll end up being okay. And I think I'm gonna probably leave a lot of this stuff in place. I mean, tape it off, of course, but I'm not gonna paint the inside of the door. I'll probably paint, you know, up to and including everywhere the door panel goes, the trim panel on the inside. And like the screws for here, these are kind of stripped out, so you know, this probably is not going to come off, so I'll tape that off. And then I'll tape off pretty much everything else. But I guess the next thing to do is to clean this really well and scuff it down. Don't see any dings that need to be replaced, or repaired rather. So I can get started on that. Okay, well, it's the next day, and in the sunlight I was able to find quite a few dings that needed to be repaired. They were just really small, but I fired up the old Bondo and filled those in, and oops, looks like I actually even missed one right here. So I'll get that, I'll let it dry and sand it down, and then I think the next thing I'm going to do is remove this tint that's on these two windows. I got a heat gun and a razor blade, so I'm hoping it's not going to be too difficult. I also have a steamer if I need it. But once this dries, I'll go ahead and, you know, sand everything down and prime it, and then this will pretty much be ready for paint. Okay, just a little update. I got all the window tint scraped off of this main window. It took me probably about 10 minutes. Honestly, was not difficult. Just had my heat gun, and the key, of course, is a nice sharp razor blade, and it came right off. I'm gonna leave this for a little bit later. I'm just kind of on a break from work right now, and I'm gonna go back to work, and then after work I'll finish this, and then I'll probably bring out the sander and sand down the Bondo that I've got filled over there. So it's progress. I'll be ready for paint before you know it. All right, I jumped the gun a little bit and decided to start spraying the jams of this thing. And I've got one good coat on, and I'll probably do a second coat, and that's about it. I'm not gonna waste paint on the inside of here where the trim panel covers it. But I ended up taping off most of everything, the rubber gaskets and everything, and that's definitely not the right way to do this, and I would not do this on any other car. But this Miata, like I said, is far from a show car. And so when I peel the tape off, if there's any overspray, I'll clean it off or I'll touch it up with some black paint. I'm not too worried about it. But I'm gonna let this dry, and then I can basically turn it over and spray the front and let that thing dry. And I think I'm gonna end up I'll probably wait. I've got some clear coat coming. So you have to spray the 2K clear pretty much right away. If you don't spray it right away, you have to wait probably about a month for it to fully cure. So that's coming Saturday. So I may end up painting the outside of this door Saturday and then clearing it right away. And that way I can just install it. And I'm gonna clear coat the rest of the car too once it's all done. But it's not perfect. It's got some fish eyes right there where there must have been some grease or something, but not too worried about that. I'll let it dry, kind of clean that up, and then put another coat over it. But for right now, the jams are pretty much done. I did get all the window tint off of both windows, so it's progress. The next day, and I'm getting ready to go ahead and paint the outside of this passenger door. I got the jams all done. The inside did about 2 or 3 coats. So everything's covered to my satisfaction. Got this all sanded down, got the dings fixed, and I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple coats of the color on there. So then I'll let this dry for the rest of the day. I'll install it on the car probably tomorrow, and then once the whole side of the car is cured, I'll go ahead and clear it. Okay, this passenger door is done. I just did a final coat of the red, and you can see the bottom's got the chip guard on it, so it's naturally, you know, got a lot of orange peel on it. The top definitely has orange peel, but not as bad. So I'll wait for this to dry, and then the key to this whole thing, the whole entire car, is going to be a clear coat over everything, which I will then be able to buff and bring out a nice deep shine, as much as you can expect for, you know, a rattle can job. So that's about all I can do with this for today. I'm going to let it dry overnight. Tomorrow being Saturday, I should be able to go ahead and put this on the car. All right, it's the start of another day. Today is Saturday, and I'm gonna go ahead and remove this door and install the new door that's fully painted. In this light, you can see the dent I was talking about. I mean, it's not terrible, but for the cost of a used door, and really it's not a lot of trouble to swap it out, I hope. It's worth it. This car has power windows, so I'm hoping I can just reuse the new power window and everything, the motor and the new door. So I'm probably not going to show this process a whole heck of a lot. I need to remove that check strap. There's a pin right there that pops up, which will then allow the removal of the hinges, and this kind of grommet right there. Hopefully, if the old door is anything like the new door, there should be some connection points in there, which will allow me to easily swap this out. So I guess we'll see. I'm gonna get started. All right, I got the pin for the check strap out, and that was not easy. It just would not come out of there, but I finally managed to get it out. Got the inside trim panel off, and I'm probably not going to show too much of this just because I just want to get it done, and there's plenty of other videos out there. But I'm going to remove the speaker, and then I'm going to I'm probably just going to try to unplug the power window motor, just so I can maybe keep the wires, and rather than try to fish them, the new ones up under the dash. But we'll see how that goes. Just unplugged the speaker, which was already unplugged, and the power window motor, which is just conveniently right there. And I pulled this through. This is going to stay with the car. I'm hoping I can just remove the wiring harness that's in the new one altogether and fish this through. The replacement door had a power lock, so I definitely won't need to use that part of the harness. So just the speaker and the power window. And I decided to go ahead and remove the hinge and leave the hinge on the car. And in doing so, it's a 12 millimeter ratcheting wrench right here, which thankfully fits in right there, and thankfully I had one. So I got the top loose. I'm going to do the bottom, and then the last one I'll pull out will be the top, and then the whole door should come free. Then I can just remove the lock cylinder, the outside handle, swap that over and put it back together. And oh, also got to do the outside mirror. I did pick up a couple fasteners that will attach the mirror to the new door, and I don't know where they are offhand, but I'll find them. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this door off. The door is off, and it's a good feeling, knowing that it's really not that difficult. Of course, putting the new one back on is going to be a little more difficult. I'm going to have to build some kind of platform here to take the weight off of it while I secure it in. So there's Donovan over there inspecting the old door. So I think it's time to bring the new one out. Well, when fitting the new door, I leaned the freshly painted door, well, freshly painted yesterday, against the blanket for just a minute. And of course, a bunch of fuzz stuck to it, and the new paint got imprinted. So thankfully I have enough paint, so I'm gonna have to mount this up and tape it off and give it another coat, but I guess that's the way it goes. I'm just getting the new door mounted, and then I will check the power window, see if this motor works. Hoping it does, fingers crossed. All right, well, one positive thing, this new replacement door motor works. So that's great. I'm gonna go ahead and spray some lithium grease, I guess, or whatever I have in those tracks, try to free them up a little bit. Those door bushings look like they're in good shape, because I know this door was several years newer. I think about 7 years newer than this car, so good. Now I can put it back together. Okay, well, the door's back together as far as I can put it right now. I'm gonna go ahead and repaint this upper part of the door, so I'm not gonna put the handle in or the mirror on. So, and I'm not gonna close the door, because I mean, I could probably open it, you know, by pulling this, but I don't want to chance it. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up and scuff this, tape it off, paint it, and let it dry. And then hopefully in a couple hours I can just put this thing back together. All right, well, the door is all reassembled. Got the mirror on, got the interior trim all put back together. Everything looks good. The door opens and closes very well. I think the bushing on this door was in a lot better shape than the old one. It's got a nice sound when it closes. Of course, the window is dirty, it's from touching it, but everything works, and I'm quite happy. So the door is definitely still a little tacky, so I can't really do much else today, but I did get a coat of new red on top, and it's got a lot more orange peel than the other coats. Of course, they were done while it was laying flat in a more controlled substance, but that's okay. I'm gonna do a clear coat over top, so that'll definitely even everything out. But now I have to wait probably at least a month to do this side. So then the only other panel on this car that is still original is the hood and the headlight doors, of course. And I'm gonna go ahead and do those next. I don't know if I'll get to them today. It's about midday on Saturday. If not today, definitely tomorrow. And then I can pretty much, I'm gonna wait probably about a month. Then I can tape off the whole rest of the car, tape everything off, and I'm gonna, as soon as I paint the rest of it, then I can immediately clear coat, and then come around here and clear coat this side, and then hopefully that'll keep it from fading. But you can see, no more dent. Very happy with that. Car looks really good in the sun, but it's still a rattle can job, and it's far from perfect. But I guess that'll do it for this installment. As always, I definitely appreciate you watching, and feel free to leave comments. I read all of them. Until next time, we'll catch you on the flip side.